G'day guys, and just welcome back to another video. Time to do another DVD and Blu-ray update for you. I think we're in May 2012 now, so I've got a big huge stack here of ones to show you. They have actually sort of showed you some of these already. Did a few, sort of out and about videos, few sort of pick-up videos over the last couple of weeks, and so you would have perhaps sort of seen some of these. So I might just sort of quickly show them, and then I'll sort of get on the ones that you sort of you haven't sort of seen and I've sort of watched recently. First of all, we've got the first three American Pie movies, which I did a bit of a review of on my channel the other day. If you want to perhaps go on my channel and have a bit of a look at that, plus leave some comments, that'd be good. So I got them. Also got Annie Hall, which I sort of had a bit of a talk about. Certainly a great film. Yeah, great sort of interesting to sort of see like 70s sort of culture, sort of throwback to the 70s, and lots of sort of great dialogue. Woody Allen's always talking and sort of over analysing every single thing, and so it's just about sort of Woody Allen and Diane Keaton. It's just sort of about, I think it's sort of based on, I think it's sort of probably sort of fiction, but I'm sure it's a bit of truth in there as well. But it's basically just sort of their relationship, and how a lot of Woody Allen has a lot of insecurities, and just how it sort of how it sort of affects the relationship, and it's just definitely a great movie, great sort of dialogue, and great sort of 70s type movie. I picked this one up the other day. I haven't had a sort of chance to sort of watch this one, but I've sort of heard it's a very good movie though. It's got Natalie Portman, Mila Kunis in it, Vincent Cassel. I've heard it's definitely supposed to be a great film, so I'll definitely check that out when I'm sort of in the mood perhaps to watch it. The one I got was one that I really enjoyed. It's called Senna. It's sort of like a documentary on the life of Senna. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Great. I really enjoyed this one. I watched it sort of last night, and definitely recommend watching it. There's sort of two versions. It's got the theatrical version, and then there's the extended version, which is like, I think it's like 2 hours and 45. About 2 hours and 45 minutes. I think for the extended version. So I sort of watched the extended version. I didn't know it was going to be quite that long, but I was really engrossed though, just the whole time I was watching it. I'm not really sort of a big sort of fan of F1, but I'm a big sort of fan of men and women that really just sort of push the boundaries, and just really achieve a lot, and really work hard to to sort of get what they want to achieve. And Senna was just like like I suppose a freak is probably not the best word to use, but he was just he's just fantastic, and just sort of young and fit, and very sort of different style perhaps to some of the older drivers that are a bit annoyed, because he's very there's a lot of sort of the older drivers. There's a lot more sort of unwritten rules about how you can sort of go around corners, and you can't sort of cut people off, and stuff like that. But Senna was just if he saw a break, he was just going to go for it. It's always go, and just wanted to be the best. And great sort of a rivalry between him and his teammate Prost. That was fantastic to watch. Just the way they just sort of they were good friends, and had big respect for each other. But other times they just really hated each other's guts, and just things they used to sort of do to each other, and just the sort of sales accidents. But there's times when they'd sort of crash into each other on purpose, and just because they were just so driven to sort of win and beat each other, and be the best. And it's also about sort of the main sort of idea behind the film, but it wasn't necessarily didn't want to sort of show Senna the F1 driver. He wanted to sort of show Senna the person, and there's a lot of sort of about his sort of home life, just how he sort of gave a lot of money to. He's from Brazil, and Brazil was like a very sort of poor country, and a lot of sort of poverty, and Aunt Senna was just like basically one of the sort of the best thing to come out of Brazil. He was just like a god. They just sort of loved him because he was just one of the one of the most sort of loved man of his time, sort of thing, and just a great sort of role model for the Brazilians to sort of hold on to. And just yeah, but definitely just yeah, great movie. Definitely great sort of documentary. Definitely worth watching. It's just really a lot of sort of emotions, you know, sort of. You know, it's great when he won, and of course when he sort of died at the end, it was really sad, and just sort of the mourning of people, just you know, thousands and thousands of people just sort of following his coffin, and just yeah, it's definitely a great movie, that one. Definitely a great documentary. Definitely worth a watch. I'd definitely recommend that one. Also showed the Stanley Kubrick collection, which I got for $20 from Sanity in Australia. Great sort of bargain. Unless if you go onto eBay now, there's a lot of people I think that sort of bought this cheap from Sandy for $20 and they're trying to sell it for more money on eBay. I noticed there's a big list of big sort of split, you know, big sort of list of all these packs that are for sale now. This one's got, I think it's 8 movies in it. Lolita, which I haven't seen. 2001: Space Odyssey, which I've already got on Blu-ray. I think I saw it a few years ago. It was a decent movie. Clockwork Orange is another good movie. Barry Lyndon, I think I've seen that one once before. I think from what I remember, it was actually quite a good movie. I think it's sort of about, from what I can remember, it's about a sort of a guy that sort of has a lot of success, and he's very rich and sort of has a lot of power, I suppose. And then at the end of his life, he sort of falls on hard times and basically ends up sort of without any money, and sort of ends up sort of, I don't know, dying alone, or it's just it's for a great sort of sort of about sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down, and sort of you never know quite where life's going to take you, I suppose. The Shining, which I think I've seen a long time ago. Full Metal Jacket, that's a really good movie. Sort of split into sort of 2 halves. You got the first half of the movie, sort of boot camp, and it's in the Vietnam War, and then you got second half sort of where they've been sort of deployed, and a lot of people sort of don't seem to like it. Sort of the second half, it's sort of, I don't know, I'm not sure. I sort of like it that sort of two parts. I think it sort of breaks up the the movie, and that's sort of what happened though. You sort of you're like a new soldier, and you sort of go to boot camp, and you sort of have your experience there. Then you sort of go out to war, and sort of use that the things you've been taught to sort of try and survive, out in war. So I just thought it was great, sort of the two halves of the movie. But a lot of people have issues with that. Last one on here is Eyes Wide Shut, with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, I think from memory. Yeah, but that's from memory that was a fairly sort of odd movie, but I think it was fairly good from what I remember. Then of course I also got the other day Men in Black 1 with a little sort of slip cover, and then I got Men in Black 2 as well. Which I think I was sort of seen once or twice, when they sort of first came out. Definitely, yeah. I thought they were a fairly good movie. Sort of great, sort of reminded me a lot of sort of 80s movies, like so like the Blues Brothers, I suppose. Just sort of great sort of characters and great story, and sort of sort of character development, and the characters and the locations is all very sort of I don't know, type of Blues Brothers, I suppose. I suppose also got the sunglasses as well, I suppose. That's very well. I think it's reminds me a lot of Blues Brothers, I guess. Yeah, I thought they were reasonably good. Yeah, special effects are fairly good, and essentially it's got Will Smith in it, and Tommy Lee Jones. Basically, I think sort of Will Smith's he's in the NYPD Blue and NYPD, and sort of obviously Tommy Lee Jones, he's like in the Men in Black, sort of organisation that sort of they sort of look after aliens, and basically I don't know, sort of aliens come down to visit or to live among us, and the Men in Black sort of organise it all, and sort of control it, and the incoming and outgoing of the aliens, sort of thing. Basically, sort of Tommy Lee Jones could see a bit of potential in Will Smith to ask him to sort of join, and yeah, it's just great sort of movie. So the second one's pretty good too. It's sort of more of the same, and perhaps a little bit more silly. I think it's a bit more sort of trying to make it a bit better and more funny, I suppose. And it's a lot more sillier. But I think they were both pretty good. I think there's supposed to be a third one coming out. I think at the end of the month, I think, or over the next few months anyway. So might go and see that at cinema when it comes out. Last one I got was Pelham 1, 2, 3, the original one. I thought this was a really good movie. I really enjoyed this one. Just yeah, great sort of, you know, before we sort of had like, you know, CGI and lots of things blowing up, and you sort of had to rely on, you know, sort of great characters and just great storyline and great sort of tension, and which is what it was. It was just really good, you know, great acting and great characters, and just really sort of solid type sort of thriller type movie. Especially you've got Robert Shaw and Walter Matthau. Basically the storyline is that there's sort of, I think it's like 4 or 5 guys, and they sort of hijack a train. I think it's in New York City, and they sort of, you know, sort of demand $1 million, and basically just sort of about the, you know, they're gonna, you know, if they don't get the $1 million, they're going to start, you know, shooting the hostages on the train. So it's just, yeah, just really lots of suspense, and you know, you're not quite sure what's going to happen next. You know, are they going to get away with it? How are they going to, you know, what are they going to do with the money? And you know, they're going to shoot someone. You know, it's just really well done, really engrossing, and yeah, definitely a great movie. Haven't seen the remake. I'm sure it wouldn't be as good as this one. I'm sure it's got, I don't know. I think I have sort of heard it's not all that good. I think I heard somewhere that reckon it wasn't all that great shot. But that's definitely a great sort of, you know, 70s, you know, action type, thriller type movie if you want to watch that. Next one I got was sort of Steelbook edition, sort of special edition of The Expendables, which I thought was actually really good. Actually, I sort of heard, you know, sort of mixed things about it. A lot of people reckon it was really good, and yeah, nothing much inside, I don't think. Just a bit of artwork on the back. Yeah, sort of mixed things on it, and but I thought it was really good, great sort of, you know, I sort of like the jokes about them. We're all getting a bit old now, and I sort of like the jokes that were sort of saying that, you know, they're too slow, and you know, sort of getting too old for this, and but you've got some, you know, great, you know, Sylvester Stallone. Who else is in it? You know, Jet Li, Jason Statham, Mickey Rourke, Dolph Lundgren, Bruce Willis. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger does a bit of a sort of bit of a cameo as well. I just thought it was a really great sort of you know, good sort of old style action flick, and just, yeah, you know, just a great action, and yeah, fairly decent sort of. I mean, storyline was probably a bit sort of simplistic, I suppose, but it's just great sort of characters, and you know, good sort of dialogue, and just, you know, just decent sort of, you know, fairly sort of solid type movie, I thought. You know, good sort of popcorn flick, I suppose. I think there's a second one coming out now. Expendables 2 is supposed to be coming out sometime. I can definitely go and see that. But I thought this was really good. You know, sort of. Some people reckon it was pretty bad, but I actually thought it was, you know, fairly, you know, for what it was, I thought it was, you know, fairly sort of decent. So yeah. So we got one. I actually had this one for a while. The Social Network, which I saw in the cinema when it first came out, and obviously people, you know, sort of railed on about it, and you know, 5 out of 5 stars, and it was, you know, a pretty big event, I suppose, when it came out. A lot of people really sort of loved it. You know, it's a David Fincher film. I think I sort of watched it at cinema and sort of came out and thought, yeah, it was alright, I suppose. It wasn't sort of too fantastic. But I mean, I sort of had a bit of think about it, I suppose, for the next few days, and it's not a bad movie. I mean, it's obviously, you know, it's a book about the creation of Facebook, so it's not like you're going to have anything, you know, anything fantastic, I suppose. You know, lots of, you know, I don't know, sort of engrossing, I suppose, too much. But it's, you know, fairly decent sort of solid, I suppose, type movie, and just sort of about, you know, is it Mark Zuckerberg is his name, and just sort of how he sort of created Facebook, and you know, some of his, I think it was some of the some other people were sort of doing, you know, created something very similar, and so, you know, had to sort of go to court, and he just sort of try and prove that he was the one that, you know, originally came up with the idea of Facebook, and but yeah, I thought it was fairly decent. I haven't sort of seen recently. I sort of watched it when it first came out, but I thought it was alright. I should probably watch it again, and you know, it's nothing sort of flashy or you know, lots of action or anything like that. It's just more of a sort of, you know, story driven, you know, just a movie, I suppose. Fairly decent made type movie, I guess. Next one I got was Ghost, an old sort of 1990, I think. It's got a bit of a cover. I don't think you can see it though. sort of, sort of slip cover there as well for it. I'll get it out. This one's, it's got Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg in it. I thought this was fairly decent. Probably perhaps a bit dated, I suppose, by today's standards. And a lot of, obviously it was a fairly big movie when it came out, and very popular, and a lot of people sort of raved about it. But I suppose now perhaps it's a bit dated. Obviously people have sort of come along and sort of stole the idea and sort of added things to it and made it a bit better, I suppose. But I thought it was a fairly good movie though. Essentially, I'm sure you probably already know the storyline, but I'll just go through it quickly. Basically, you got Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, sort of like a couple, and sort of very much in love, I suppose, and sort of starting out. I think they're about to, I don't know, have it. Well, not, it's about the time they're sort of thinking about having a baby, I suppose. Having kids and growing old together or whatever. And basically, so what happens, he sort of gets this. They sort of get mugged, and he sort of gets shot, and he sort of comes back as a ghost because he needs to sort of find out, who killed him and what sort of happened, and obviously, Demi Moore can't hear him. He's sort of following her around, and he can't, she can't hear him or see him. So he sort of goes off to like a psychic. Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi Goldberg's got to try and convince Demi Moore that he's here, and that she can hear him, and she's sort of relaying messages to him and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought it was a fairly decent type movie. Good sort of 90s type movie. Yeah, pretty good. This one I got was one that look at Stealth with Josh Lucas, Jessica Biel, and Jamie Foxx. I think I sort of heard when this sort of came out. I think I sort of heard a few bad things about it, so I never sort of wanted to watch it. But I think I might have been getting mixed up with a movie called SWAT with Samuel L. Jackson. I think it might come out perhaps at the same time. But I sort of watched this one on TV the other day, and I thought it was a really decent sort of movie. It was, good sort of popcorn type movie, just really good fun and stuff. Essentially, they've got the three best sort of fighter pilots in the world, basically. Like with the I don't know what you call those sort of planes, but they're all sort of high tech ones. And so they've they sort of make this, scientists make this sort of AI, sort of really smart one that can sort of fly itself, and of course it goes, it's supposed to replace humans, because it's supposed to be so advanced and all done with computers and stuff like that. But of course it goes haywire, and these three have got to try and bring it down, try and save the world or whatever. I just thought it was a fairly decent sort of movie, decent storyline. Decent sort of action in it. I just thought it was fairly good. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Second last one we got is a DVD called The Motorcycle Diaries, which I really enjoyed this one. It's about two guys, based on a true story. What are the names? Alberto Grandio and Ernest Guevaro, I think that's how you pronounce it. Who basically he sort of became later on. He sort of became Che, the sort of famous, very sort of famous sort of guerrilla sort of activist, I guess. In I think it's sort of, I don't know where it was, Latin America, and it's just very sort of very political. And this is essentially just sort of like his early, when he's about his sort of mid 20s, when he was sort of a young man, and sort of the story before he sort of became Che, I guess. Just him and his friends sort of go on this sort of like I think it's 8 or 9 month sort of journey. I think it's they sort of travel on like a motorbike. I think it's like a Norton 939 Norton 500 motorbike, and they just sort of go on this sort of 8 or 9 month journey across Latin America, and sort of see a bit of the world, and sort of go on a bit of adventure, I guess. They're both I think they're sort of both like doctors, like training doctors. So I think they're sort of about to go to uni or something, or go to and sort of want to get away for a while and have a bit of a break, and sort of experience the world, and just sort of about them and their journey. And they sort of as further they sort of go, the more they sort of meet people, and then sort of realise how all the poverty and how sort of people live in these sort of horrible conditions, and it really sort of opens their eyes up to what's out there, and what sort of life's really like, and this sort of on this really sort of dodgy motorbike that sort of breaks sort of halfway, and I think they end up sort of selling it for scrap, and it's just sort of they keep falling off the bike and get covered in dirt, and the bike's leaking oil, and it's all the smoke's coming out the back of it, and it's just really sort of on an unplanned type journey, and they just obviously thought they were going to make it, but they didn't. They sort of end up at like a leper colony. They sort of end up at like a leper colony. Being doctors, and and they've got sort of, it's very funny because they've sort of got sort of like the sick people with the leprosy are on sort of one island, and then the doctors that sort of help them on like another island. So they've got this big sort of divide of water between the two, sort of trying to sort of separate them, I suppose. And the two guys sort of come in and say, well, that's not really fair, and sort of had this rule where the doctors weren't allowed to sort of shake the hands of the lepers, because they thought that most the disease they might get infected or something, which is supposed to be total crap. I think that's the sort of if these two sort of guys came in and said, well, that's crap, and we can shake their hand. There's no, we're not going to catch leprosy or something. I don't know how leprosy is transferred, but apparently it's not how you just from shaking your hand. Anyway, so I thought this was just a really good movie. Great sort of scene, and just really great sort of characters, and great sort of this adventure of these two guys, and just sort of a early sort of thing of before the guy became Chi, and he's sort of obviously this is sort of where he got his ideals from, and how sort of seeing all this poverty and stuff, and just really sort of affected him enough to sort of do things with his life to try and fight against that, and that's sort of later became Chi, and was really sort of famous. Well, it's definitely a great sort of movie. I would perhaps want to find a bit more about perhaps the Chi guy, I guess. So I don't know all that much about him. But that's definitely a great movie. Last thing I got quickly, so I bought this Reread Shape. Got the 24 sort of briefcase edition, sort of series 1 to 5. On DVD, which I got really cheap secondhand off eBay. I've sort of seen perhaps a few episodes here and there, and I thought it was alright, and wasn't necessarily all that interested in it, but this is really cheap, and I just couldn't sort of pass it up, so I just grabbed it, and might perhaps resell it again, but it was just too cheap not to sort of buy. So I just got that. So that's my fairly larger update. Also have to rush through some of them. I didn't want to ramble on too much. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to leave some comments, that'd be appreciated. Thanks to the my subscribers out there and the people that do leave me comments, and thanks to my new subscribers. I got some new subscribers recently, so thanks to them. So thanks for that, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.